Good morning, everybody. Welcome back from Scott Selections here for Thursday, May 19th. For today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a loss in hockey with the Rangers and Hurricanes over 5.5 at -118 on FanDuel. We had a goal 7 minutes in, seemed like we were on decent pace, and then the entire game just came to a screeching halt as we had no goals for the next two periods or so, and the game ended up finishing 3 after it went to overtime. So it really wasn't close. I doubted the Rangers defense following that first round series against Pittsburgh, and they responded well because the Rangers had probably their best two defensive periods of the entire season and still lost the game anyway. But either way, really wasn't that close. Props to the Rangers and the Hurricanes for buckling down defensively, and we took a loss. So either way, we'll look for a bounce-back winner here on Thursday. And for the play today, we're going to go back to hockey, looking at the late game between the Blues and the Avalanche for Game 2 of that series, taking place at around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the play today, we're going to take the Avalanche on the puck line, -1.5 goals at +105 on DraftKings. Time recording of 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like the Avalanche in this spot. First of all, Colorado has looked like the best team in the league by far up to this point in the postseason. The Avalanche have won each of their first 5 playoff games, including Game 1, which was very close. They won 3-2 in overtime. However, if you go through the actual stats, the game really should not have been that close. The Avalanche outshot the Blues by 29, and they also hit the post-crossbar, a Stanley Cup playoff record, 5 times. So you can make an argument that the Avalanche really should have had a lot more goals than 3 because of the fact that the iron was pretty kind to Binnington and the fact that Binnington was really just standing on his head the entire game. I do think the Avalanche are a bit mispriced here because of how badly they dominated on the stat sheet, but not in the actual goal category. So I do think getting plus money here with the much better hockey team does seem like a lot of value. Plus, if you want to use the actual expected goals tool, which is something you can find on the internet, basically it tells you under normal circumstances how many goals each team is projected to score in a given game. So with average goaltending, etc. And with that being the case, the Avalanche won Game 1 by a score of 5.11 to 1.87. In other words, Binnington was so good that he saved the Blues roughly 2 goals defensively by himself, and the Blues ended up scoring 2, which is pretty much on par with what their expected goals were. So the point is that Binnington was an absolute lunatic in Game 1, and even though he is still a very solid Stanley Cup winning goaltender, I do question if he's able to put together a performance of that caliber once again. And the Avalanche, with that many extra shots on net and with that many post-crossbar hits, I do think is in a pretty good spot to win this game by several goals at home on Thursday. Now, can Binnington go crazy once again? Sure. But you also got to remember in Game 1, the Avalanche were winning 2-1 with about 5 minutes to go, took a questionable penalty, and then the Blues ended up scoring a game-tying goal right as that power play expired. So the Avalanche were looking at an empty net opportunity to potentially go up 3-1, and instead the Blues scored late, game went to overtime. But I do believe that if the Avalanche are up 1 and Binnington has another great game, then they're still going to pull the goalie with about 2 minutes to go, and we know the Avalanche are capable of scoring at least one empty net goal if the opportunity presents itself. So I do think there are a couple of ways that the Avalanche could end up covering this 1.5, whether they dominate from start to finish and open up a 3-0 lead, 4-1 lead, something like that, or even just a late game 1-goal lead, which could result in an empty netter. But if you want to go through trends, the Blues have been awful recently in Colorado. The Blues are 1-7 in their last 8 meetings in Colorado. So even though the Blues hung around in Game 1, it was all because of goaltending. The Avalanche dominated in every other aspect of the game, and I do believe the Colorado should win Game 2 more handily because they are more talented at virtually every position. Play that once again here for Thursday, May 19th. It's going to be on the Avalanche, -1.5 goals at +105 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.